Well, first of all, congrats to the Wolves. They were fantastic. Had a great series, beating us 4 games straight after that first one. Uh, congrats to Chris Finch, Tim Connolly. They've done a great job here the last few years building this team, and back-to-back Western Conference Finals, pretty damn impressive. So it was a fight. Really proud of our guys. They hung in there and they battled the whole way through, and quite a turnaround in our season. From where we were a few months ago to giving ourselves a chance and having a swing at the plate. For some real chances to go deep, and we were right there, and obviously didn't go our way. But again, the Wolves were great. They deserved it, and I'm very proud of our team.
How difficult is the step aspect of this, and kind of the what if that you'll always live?
Yeah, I mean, injuries are part of the playoffs. I learned a long time ago. The playoffs are really about health, and then just guys stepping up and making some big shots, big plays, in key games. That's what decides every series. And so we've been on both ends of that, and it's just part of it. So there's no sense in dwelling on it. And, I don't want to take anything away from what Minnesota just accomplished. So no sense in even talking about Steph.
How much carryover do you feel like there was from going 7 with Houston from the last series into this series, just the attrition that series required?
Well, we obviously came in here and won game 1, coming right off of game 7. So I don't think it was an issue. I thought game 3 was the key to the series. We're at 1-1, and we've got a 6-point lead in the mid-fourth, and they made huge plays down the stretch of that game, and that was the one we needed to get. And then I thought the last 2 games they broke free offensively. I mean, they shot 63% tonight. We couldn't stop them. We actually did everything we wanted to accomplish. We dominated the possession game. We got 39 threes up, but 12 more field goal attempts, 15 more free throws. We did everything we needed to do to win the game. But they shot 63%. So ultimately, you've got to be able to guard and get stops, and we weren't able to do that.
You guys were only down by 6 with about 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Then they go on that 9-0 run,
Yeah.
kind of like what they did in the last game. I guess what happened there?
Yeah, they broke free. It felt like the transition stuff in the first half was really key. I looked at the stat sheet at halftime. They only had 6 transition points. I think that was misleading. Those stats are a little nebulous sometimes too. It felt to me like they were getting out in transition and then getting into the paint, and then their passing was spectacular tonight. They had 20 assists in the first half. Had us on a string. We kept having to rotate because the ball would get free, and we'd had to bring help, and the ball started to move for them, and they played a beautiful first half, and that last 9-0 run was a big part of the game.
2 of your youngest guys had the biggest scoring outputs tonight, obviously, Jonathan and Brandon. What did you see from them tonight and in the series? Brandon obviously had struggled.
I thought it was our best offensive game of the series, even though we didn't shoot well. The ball really moved. We had great pace, great tempo. I thought Brandon did a really good job of pushing the ball, getting it swung side to side. We were able to attack them on closeouts because the ball was moving. Our spacing was much better. That was a big problem for us earlier in the series, just a lack of spacing. Obviously playing some new lineups that hadn't played together. A lot of lineups that had, guys who are used to being in the paint, and we were asking them to be on the perimeter. Tonight we did a much better job of that, of getting spaced, and that allowed us to move the ball, and both J.K. and Brandon, had big scoring nights. I was really thrilled for Moses. It's been a tough postseason for him, but he showed exactly who he is, as a player, as a person, just staying ready, coming in, having that big fourth quarter. That was meaningful, and I love our guys. Like I said, we this was a hell of a run for us, considering where we were at the trade deadline. Jimmy changed our season, flipped everything for us, gave us a chance. We became one of the best teams in the league, and obviously, you get to the final 8 in the NBA, you're one of the best teams, and we had a shot, but things didn't go our way. But like I said, Minnesota deserves the credit. They were the better team.
With that said, how do you feel about the future? And I'm talking more just next season. With Jimmy now here and what you guys can maybe build on.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got obviously Jimmy and Dre and Steph all coming back. Our young players performed really well this year. There's a lot to look forward to.
Not trying to set you up with excuses, because I know you don't want that, but was Butler pretty much 100%, or was he compromised physically?
Well, I think he was definitely compromised through all series. I think the injury in Houston definitely impacted him. He's been playing through pain, and I think the biggest thing in this series is that without the spacing that Steph gives us, Minnesota did a great job of just playing us one-on-one. They guarded us on the perimeter. They were trying to take away our threes, and that forced Jimmy to play a lot of one-on-one against a long athletic team. And his whole game is to ISO, get the ball into the paint, and then move it to generate shots. And they just made the decision not to leave our perimeter guys, even our non-shooters on the perimeter. They just stayed with them everywhere and made Jimmy play one-on-one. And because they have a lot of length and athleticism, it wasn't easy for him to get anything at the rim and in the paint. And obviously they've got Gobert back there. So they made things difficult on Jimmy. Once Steph went out, it changed everything for our whole team, but especially for Jimmy.
Steve, you guys did a nice job, especially in the first half, of getting Anthony off the ball, which is what you wanted to do. He had 6 points at halftime, but you guys were down 15. Is there an adjustment that you can make from that? Or, where do you go from that when you're down 15 and he has 6 points?
Yeah, we blitzed him early in the game. We were trapping him, and they got free, and they scored several times against our blitzes, and that's the risk you take, when you go to that coverage. So I thought all in all tonight we threw a lot of stuff at him, box and one, one possession, a lot of zone, trapping in the backcourt. But they're a hell of a team. They've got shooting everywhere, and that's the name of the game in modern NBA. If you can space the floor with 4 or 5 different guys, it makes defense really, really difficult. And I thought their spacing, their shooting just spread us out, and that allowed their guys to attack and get into the paint.
Following up on the earlier question about Pods and Jonathan, your younger guys, obviously with Steph's injury, they had a bigger role in this series. How much can this playoff experience sort of help them going forward?
Fantastic playoff experience for both guys. Very proud of Jonathan, to go from where he was in the Houston series, not really being part of the rotation. And then when Steph got hurt, staying ready and coming in, and he played really well here these last 4 games. And BP, this was a great experience for him. He said there were times in the series where he was hesitant to shoot. Even tonight, he was 4 for 6. I thought he could have gotten 10 or 11 threes off, and we needed those. And I told him that after the game. I said, when we get back here next year, you are not going to turn down a single shot. And that's part of the playoffs. I lived it as a player. It is it's a mind game. I call it, something more profane. It's, but the playoffs are they are a mind game. And it's really easy to lose your confidence. Teams throw different schemes at you. You have a bad game, and everybody's talking about your shooting percentage, and you feel like you're on an island. I've been there, and it was great for Brandon to go through that and then finish the series with a great game, because he's got to understand this is what it feels like. Nobody cares in January if you have 2 games where you're 4 for 20. But in the playoffs, everybody's writing about it, everybody's talking about it, you feel exposed, and that's a big part of playoff experience is understanding you got to keep firing, you got to stay aggressive, keep your confidence any way you can.
Steve, you mentioned earlier we had a shot. When you look back at this series of the playoffs, the way you guys played to get out of Houston, the way Steph and you guys were playing that game one right before you got hurt, will you wonder what if? Like, what did you think? How far this team could go, the potential?
Yes, the next few days. You know, I mean, I don't even have to think what if. I know we had a shot. I know we could have gone the distance. Maybe we wouldn't have, but it doesn't matter. Again, everything in the playoffs is about who stays healthy and who gets hot. You know, are you playing well at the right time? Do you have multiple guys step up in key games, make shots? And do you have good health? And, you know, you see it every year in every series. And so there's a little bit of luck involved, you know, and we, like I said, we've been on both sides of that, and it's just part of it.
Does it give you confidence going into the next season of knowing like what this team is capable
For sure, for sure. The second half of the season, we became one of the best teams in the league. We had, you know, really, I think the number one ranked defense for the last 30 games. We became a two-way basketball team. I think Mike Dunleavy's a superstar. I think what he's done in the last couple of years, I have total faith in Mike and his ability to look at our team, figure out what we need, and help us get better this summer. And so I'm excited for what's ahead. Yeah, disappointed, but Minnesota was great, man. I wish them well.
Steve, given the ages of Steph and Draymond and Jimmy, how much is luck just a part of when you get to this point? Luck that they stay healthy, luck that, you know, older players stay upright at this point?
You need luck when they're younger, too, you know? You do. Like I said, we've been on both sides of it, you know. 2015, we go to the finals, and, you know, Cleveland's without Kyrie and Kevin Love, and the next year, you know, we're in the playoffs, and Steph goes down, and he's banged up, and Draymond gets suspended, and, you know, stuff happens, and we've been on both sides of it. And so, yes, our main three guys are older now, so we're going to have to navigate that as best we can. But you just go for it and, you know, do the best you can.
Given the arc of the season where you guys, you know, finished, how do you think you'll remember 24, 25?
I will remember this season for the way this team was connected and persevered, and what an incredible group. Going back to, you know, October training camp, playing 13 guys out of the gate, and then our team transforming with the trade for Jimmy. But I enjoyed coaching every single guy on this team. And all you can really ask as a coach is if for your team to commit to each other, to the cause, and for guys to fight through adversity when things don't go their way. And we saw that over and over again with all of our guys. And that's really satisfying. So I thoroughly enjoyed this season, love our guys, and like I said, it's sad that it's over, but it's a really fun year.
Draymond said something, Steve, Draymond said something after game 4. He said that it seemed like every time we get a little run going, they have an answer for it.
Yeah.
Does that take an emotional or a psychological toll on a team when you see you're coming back, and they zap right back at you?
Yeah, for sure. But look, they were the better team. I mean, Julius Randle was incredible. What a series, you know. And he's always been a really good player in this league. I think he has taken a leap. I remember playing here early in the season, and it looked like a tough fit, and they didn't have the spacing. You know, they missed Towns, and you fast forward to now, he's 13 for 18 tonight. He was just incredible the whole series. We couldn't stop him. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is just a superstar. So they were the better team, and yeah, it's demoralizing, but that's you know, that's what the game is about. Can you get stops? And we couldn't get stops. Thank you.